The legal bumper ride seems like a never-ending one for the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, but he is trudging on. In the latest chapter of his legal trial, Emefiele has pleaded not guilty to allegation of printing 684.5 million naira notes with 18.96 billion naira. And during his arraignment at the FCT High Court, Abuja, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on 4-count charge, he pleaded his innocence to the allegation. The trial judge, Justice Marian Hanini, granted him bail to the tune of 300 million naira with 2 sureties in like sum. Mr. Adewale, let me come to you on this because, you know, these are fresh charges being brought against the former CBN governor. What do you make of this? Because this is not the first time. This is about his 3rd case, if I'm not mistaken. What do you make of this fresh charges being trumped up
I think
now and again?
November last year, I think 4 counts were brought against him. Then in January this year, it went up to about 20 by the federal government. Now the EFCC has also brought some charges against him. They are talking about using 18.9, approximately 19 billion to print 684 million naira at a time of very serious economic meltdown in the country. And also they are talking about withdrawal of around 24 billion, you know, from the consolidated account belonging to the government. For me, I think there are so many charges against him, and I'm personally not surprised. If we were in this country last year, there were a lot of voodoo economic developments that shattered the hope of Nigerians, you know, that destroyed their future, that brought them, you know, took them to a state of stupor. And up to today, many of them are yet to recover. And we were so worried about the flimsy excuses that were, you know, pushed forward by the CBN at that time. They wanted a new currency because of kidnappers, you know, and all sort of things. And the fact that the CBN governor at that time also wanted to contest for the president of Nigeria as a sitting CBN governor, you know, bringing in politics into the character of, you know, monetary policy of the country. I think it was a letdown of the Nigerian people. So for many of us, for me in particular, we were looking for justice. We don't think this thing should pass without repercussion, if only for presidents and for the future of this country. However, there are other fundamental issues that come to mind. For instance, he withdrew 124 billion naira. It couldn't have been the only one that was culpable. There must have been other officials. If you see trial in other countries, a chain of network of, you know, people are usually involved. It cannot just be unilateral decision of the CBN governor alone. There must be bank, you know, officials involved. There must be auditors involved. There must be internal and external auditors involved. And there must be some people that are politically liable, you know, who use their influence to, you know, impose certain rules on the CBN. So I think, in as much as we want to see justice, we also think that there's the need to spread the dragnet. And I actually feel there's the need to consolidate all the charges against him into one. And we hope that at the end of the day, it's not just that, you know, we are looking for justice for Nigerians. We also want justice for the former CBN governor, and also justice for the society itself. So that at the end of the day, people don't just think they can just do anything and get away with it.
Right, point taken there. Let me quickly bring in Madam BC into this conversation, because we understand that so far the CBN governor has pleaded not guilty to these charges. But from your own perspective now, do you think it is politically motivated, as being meddled or peddled rather by his supporters and even his defense team, that all of these charges are purely is politically motivated?
Well, to your first question, he has pleaded not guilty. I don't expect him to plead guilty, because pleading guilty is like deciding his own case, and which will help us as Nigerians, but we all understand what it means to plead guilty, so no problem about that. Politically motivated, should that be the concern of Nigerians now? I doubt it. I will not rule out politics in any game in the country, but that shouldn't be our concern. The real concern here is these offenses, are they committed? Were there infractions? Can it be proved that the former CBN governor misused his office as the central bank governor? Can we verify the fact that he printed so amount of money with an amount that is more than double the amount of money printed? Can we get justification for this? So these are the issues. Then who authorized this? What should be the normal process of getting this done? Did he follow the approved process? If the answers to these are negatives, it doesn't matter whether there is political motivation or economic motivation or social motivation. The motivation shouldn't be a problem. Like he rightly said, what should be our concern is about getting Nigerians to bring their leaders or whoever occupies a position to answer for whatever abnormalities that take place during their tenure. So, and I think that is more important for us as a country than, because I see this political or economic motivation as a distraction. And it's something that is usually pleaded up anytime you are talking about issues in Nigeria. And we now find ourselves using religion, using politics, using all kinds of factors to distract attention from the real matters, from the real issues. You see, there are so many, the case is in court, there are so many things that we also noticed, which he did, which may not be peculiar to him, which many government officials probably still do now. We knew how loans were disbursed during COVID-19 era, for example. How much of that loan disbursed have we been able to recover, for example? What was the process of disbursing these loans and all of that? So many issues, so many things. I think we should just focus on the real issues and allow justice to prevail rather than allowing ourselves to be carried away with different kinds of suggestions of motivation. Yeah, and aside from motivation, Adewale, if you were to look at this now, what implications do you think the outcome of this trial could hold now, or could have on our financial institutions and, of course, you know, the country's efforts to tackle corruption? What do you make of this, and how do you think this could affect our corruption efforts?
Well, there is a propaganda that, you know, trying high-profile figures, you know, in the economic sphere, we dissuade investors. That is a very wrong perception. In fact, I think that bringing them to trial, you know, will rather show that we have a very strong fiscal policy, we have very strong legal systems, and we encourage honest people to come and invest in Nigeria and dissuade, you know, crooks, right, you know, from coming to. And if you see what has happened in other countries, Singapore, and that's what they did to be able to make sure that they are, you know, economic grew. So I think is until we get justice, you know, we should realize that nobody is above the law. There is the rule of law. If it's found guilty, I think the normal thing is to ensure that it goes to jail. Beyond that, We also need to realize that if there are funds that are being kept with him or kept for certain individuals who are probably his rookies, they should collect those funds, even including property that might have been acquired. I think if we can set this good example, it will serve as a president, it will serve as warning signals to anybody who thinks that they can just do anything with public funds.
Right. And with that point taken now, what solutions now would you prefer, Olabisi, on terms of strengthening the integrity of our financial institutions, knowing fully well that this kind of thing can happen, but we need to strengthen our financial institutions? What do you prefer?
I think what we have in place are strong policies. I think individuals deliberately do what they like with what is in place. And I think where the problem is for us in this country is not about policies, but about punishments,
right,
for people that choose to ignore
or circumvent the law.
Yes, exactly. So I think in this particular case, because let's look at it, the central bank governor should also have some levels of independence so that we enable him to perform his responsibilities. If we want to put the central bank governor under the presidency or the federal government, it's also going to hinder a lot of things. So I think it should have any CBN governor should have the freedom to execute policies, implement policies, initiate policies for the good of the country. But where they are found to be wanting, or they deliberately circumvent whatever policy is on ground to enrich themselves, then they should be punished. The problem here is that we talk about misuse of offices, but we never get to the point of punishing these people. Yeah, and that is a major problem. That is why we keep getting the same thing repeated from time to time. So I think we should go stronger on punishing offenders.
Right.